Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. It's iDestiny. So for those of you who aren't too familiar with my channel, I am an artist. I do music as well as I love to talk about self-care, self-help. Those of you that have been watching my channel for a while know that I'm no stranger to that. I talk about that actually quite a bit, as well as just researching different tips and things that have worked for me personally in my self-care routine, as well as in some of my friends and other people that I've talked to. So in the past few weeks, there have been a number of suicides. I mean, just even in general, not even counting celebrity, just in general. I just feel like things like depression, anxiety, stress, here in America, and I'm sure, you know, other places as well, but especially here, it's just something that we constantly deal with. It's something that I know I've continued to struggle with from the time that I was young, dealing a lot with anxiety and depression, and now as an adult having to deal with so many different things, being stressed as well. So I've definitely had to create a self-care routine to really help combat that, sometimes make very, very difficult days more tolerable and make tolerable days actually seem pretty great. So I decided to kind of compile a list of things that I do as my self-care routine, and I wanted to share them with you guys. Hopefully they can help some of you. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, if you're on prescription meds or anything like that, to just toss them out of the window. I prefer to do things naturally and really find ways of doing things that are more homeopathic, or just more me kind of dealing with my own personal mental state, or therapy or counseling. I kind of prefer that route. If you're on meds and they're working for you, great. You know, I'm definitely not here to say whether you should or shouldn't be taking any sort of medication, but I know as far as my body, I know it works for me. My body does not like, you know, harsh medications and that sort of thing. So I really felt that this was very important for me to kind of document and write out. So first and foremost, I am not your doctor. I'm not your healthcare physician or anything like that in any sense. These are just things that I do, and if they work for you, great. If they don't, then, you know, great. Hopefully something else will work for you. And two, I actually want to create a downloadable list of these things for you guys, as well as kind of like a worksheet to kind of help you guys process through some of these things that I'm going to be talking about. So I'm going to link that below. Now, for me personally, I am a very spiritual person. Some of you may not. So I'll definitely give some alternatives to some of the more spiritual things that I do. I definitely like to draw from a lot of different cultures and, you know, backgrounds and things that they've done for either years or for centuries or decades or whatever, and kind of mish them all up a little bit to kind of create my personal self-care routine. But you guys can kind of take what you need and drop what you don't. So let me just jump right into it. Number one is the second I get up in the morning, there's people that love to meditate first thing, you know, in the morning. For me personally, it's very difficult for me to meditate because I will fall back to sleep. So the first thing I actually do is I get out my Bible app, and I usually try to read some sort of peaceful scripture. That way it's like my eyes are focused, so I'm gradually waking myself up while really focusing on something that's peaceful, and just kind of stay cuddled up in bed. As some of you guys know that struggle with anxiety and depression, sometimes it's difficult to even get out of bed. So I don't even force myself to get up first thing in the morning when my alarm goes off. I just kind of roll over to one side, get out my Bible app, you know, try to read a scripture that's uplifting. For those of you that aren't Bible readers or anything like that, this could be maybe a motivational or mindfulness book. Maybe you read a couple paragraphs just to kind of wake you up in the morning. And just having those kind of positive words kind of wash over your mind, I feel like it definitely helps to at least kind of get your day started and rolling when it's just even difficult to get out of bed. And along with this, I usually kind of pair this with some kind of uplifting music as well, something mellow, something not too crazy. Currently right now, I'm listening to the MSC Mosaic album. So for those of you that are MSC fans, I don't know, maybe I'll make a Spotify playlist or something for you guys to check out. Just really nice uplifting music that's very, very calm. So sometimes I'll listen to it while I read, or I'll do it afterwards. And it just kind of gives me that little push that I need to kind of get myself out of bed, to kind of be like, okay, I can tolerate stepping out of bed and not having a meltdown. And number two is kind of like a combination either or. I don't do each one of these every day. Sometimes I'll rotate. And this is either 5 minutes of cardio or 15 minutes of sunlight. So for those of you, I mean, it's nothing really new that, you know, when you work out or do some sort of cardio, you get those kind of healthy and happy endorphins going, and they kind of just give you a boost, like a little bit of a mood boost, just to kind of get you going. So I started with my quotes and my reading and all that kind of stuff, got myself out of bed, and now I'm just gonna do 5 minutes of cardio. Just even finding the motivation to work out sometimes is very, very difficult. This is not that time where I'm just gonna be like in the gym trying to get myself, you know, bulked up or whatever for the summer. This is literally just me trying to get those endorphins going so that I can make it to my day, whether that's going to work or school or whatever it is that you have going on. Another option for you is if you're just really not a cardio person, you just really just can't even do 5 minutes. I don't even leave my house. Like I literally just look up YouTube videos. I'll link some below that I do. So the next thing that I like to do when I'm on my 15-minute break at work, this is maybe like 2 hours into my shift. So I'll just sit out in the sun for about 15 minutes. Now, when you do that, when you sit out in the sunlight, it actually boosts your serotonin levels. And for some of you that struggle with depression and kind of things along those lines, sometimes your serotonin can be very, very low. So when you're out in the sun, it definitely helps boost that. So it kind of gives you a natural mood booster. When I went to the doctor, she told me that that was a very natural thing that I can do as well. So I did get medical advice on that. And for some of these, I actually looked some articles up online to kind of pair with things that my doctor said. So I will link those below for those of you that are curious to know, which articles I might be referencing throughout this video. And not to mention, when you go out in the sun, something happens to your brain where it just kind of triggers that, okay, you've been out in the sun, it's daytime. So by the time you get to the end of the night and you're ready to go to bed, it actually improves your sleep. So that's one thing that I love as well, because when you struggle with different things like anxiety and depression, you either sleep too long or you don't sleep enough and you're kind of a little bit of an insomniac and you're just awake. All right, number 3, this one kind of seems a little bit random, but drink water throughout the day. So for me, I have my huge, actually, where is it? So this is my glass water bottle that I take with me every single day when I go to work or to run errands or whatever. I like glass, I don't like plastic, but I try to drink at least 2 of these a day. And one of my findings, I was kind of like researching and I noticed something when I was at work. It was really difficult for me to get in a full bottle of water, whereas when I was at home, I noticed I was just like chugging and chugging and chugging and chugging. So I started kind of researching that a little bit and trying to figure out, why that is. And I found that there's a direct correlation between stress and dehydration. So it's pretty much like a vicious cycle. Like the less water you drink, the more stressed you get, your heart rate increases and you don't have as much water in your system, and so your blood is thicker and your heart is trying to pump thicker blood through your body. So, and then also when you're stressed, you just naturally drink less water and you become dehydrated, and then it just kind of continues and continues. So pretty much in my findings of drinking and sipping water throughout the day, I noticed that my temperament was a lot more calm, a lot more even. I didn't have these kind of like spikes in my emotions throughout the day and my stress levels with me drinking more water. So that's definitely good, because when you're at work, that's the least time that you want to be stressed. So drinking water can help with that. 4, this is something I do towards the very end of my day after I'm back home from work, after I've eaten, is 20 minutes of yoga. So, oh my God, I used to hate yoga, but now I definitely feel and see the benefits of it. Because for me, like I said, I'm naturally a very anxious and stress kind of prone person. I definitely lean towards that more throughout my day. So when I come home, it's really nice to do yoga and really stretch out my body, my muscles. I don't realize, but a lot of times I'll be sitting at my desk like this for minutes to hours at a time, and I don't realize how much tension I'm carrying in my back and my muscles. And when you carry that tension with you, you can get these little pockets of fluid where your lymph nodes aren't draining properly. And so yoga, when you're in those positions and really stretching out your muscles and moving in those positions, it can really help drain those lymph nodes, which I've definitely noticed, because when I didn't do yoga for a couple days in a row, I noticed I was getting kind of cramps and different issues with my back, knots and just weird things that I wasn't having when I was doing my yoga consistently. And it really helped to improve my sleep. I noticed that after I do my yoga, by the time I lay down and go to bed, like I'm out. Like I don't sit there and toss and turn and think about all the different issues in my life that I'm struggling with. Like my mind is peaceful, my body feels great and stretched out, and I'm ready to go to sleep. Now, one of the things that I do while I'm doing yoga is, some people love to meditate or do chants or different things like that. I honestly just talk to God, and I'm just like, okay, this really bothered me throughout the day. Or sometimes I'll just talk to myself and say, hey, this certain thought or thing that somebody said really triggered me, and I don't know why. And I sit there while I'm doing yoga and I try to decipher, okay, what does that trigger mean to me? Why did it affect me so much? What in my childhood or what in the past that was a trigger is similar to this trigger, and how can I deal with that. And definitely having those moments where you really sit with yourself and talk through your emotions that you went throughout the day and why you felt that way can really kind of help you come up with a strategy. That way in the future, when those same feelings and emotions pop up, you know how to deal with them, or you can at least recognize what they are and maybe share them with your therapist or a friend or somebody like that. Because for me, the hardest thing when I was dealing with depression was being able to communicate my emotions and my feelings with those around me and why I was feeling the way that I was. But you can start mindfulness. I mean, there's kids that are doing mindfulness now and really sitting and thinking over their emotions and their actions and really finding out, you know, what the cause and effect is. So that's great. And then 5 is positive affirmations. So I think, did I do a video on affirmations? I know I've talked about it before. I'll try to link it, you know, somewhere, as well as some of the other videos that correlate with this one. But I love to do positive affirmations. I know that they put my mind kind of in a more of a positive light and kind of turn it around from all those negative thoughts that I have kind of like feeding into my brain 24/7 throughout the day. It could even be things as simple as maybe like your finances. Like, I know a lot of us deal with like student debt and other forms of debt. Maybe you have a car, maybe you have a mortgage, I don't know. Instead of saying like, oh, I want to get out of debt, you would just say, you know, I am financially free. And this is not like a cocky thing in any way, shape, or form, but it's literally saying the exact opposite of the thoughts that you're getting throughout the day. So those thoughts in your head that say, you know, I'm worthless, oh my God, I'm so stupid, oh my gosh, I'm terrible. You know, you're pretty much combating that by saying, you know, I am beautiful, I am a respectable person, I am intelligent, you know, all these different things. So it could either be personal or it could be, you know, things like finances or things that you want to accomplish. You know, I will get my degree. Or, you know, not I will, but I have a degree. Like, you're literally speaking it into existence. I found that it's very, very powerful for me. I found that it's been, you know, very, very helpful in putting my mind kind of in a positive light, especially right before bed. So I'm actually gonna attach a sheet of affirmations if you want to write your own out and actually put it on the wall. So that's kind of how I started, is I just started writing it out, you know, putting it on my wall. And then it just kind of started spilling into other things of my life, my work life, my music life, other things. And I just started, you know, jotting down different things that I wanted to become. So some of the things that I have on my affirmations, sheet is, for instance, I have a strong sense of my spiritual purpose, or I live my life with intention, I am financially free. So I have things like that. So I really make sure that those words really speak life and are really, really, you know, kind of heavy hitters, not just like, oh, I'm a good person. No, like, how are you a good person? Are you an amazing person? You know, for some of you that are parents, I am a great mother. I am a great father. I am a prolific writer. I am an amazing and capable student. You know, whatever it is, really use those adjectives, and it'll really help to kind of change your mind from those negative patterns of thinking that we can sometimes get into when we deal with depression and anxiety and all those sort of things. So I hope this video really, really helps somebody out there. I know it's really helped me, especially over the past couple of weeks and couple of months. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I try to put out videos like this every now and then, just during different seasons of my life. And then I'll try to link those articles and the worksheet that you guys can download as well. I'll link that below for you guys to be able to write out your own affirmations and have this checklist that you can like print out and like put up on your wall and use throughout the day. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video if you want to see more. I'll be posting more as usual. Make sure to do well and be well, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.